Come on in to Margaret McSweeney's Kitchen for Kitchen Chat, where every week you'll meet chefs, cookbook authors, foodies, gourmets, and just plain people who love to eat. And along with laughter, chat, recipes, and stories about food, you'll sometimes also hear words of inspiration, love, and hope. As Margaret always says, Kitchen Chat is food for the senses and food for the soul. So grab a cup of coffee, put your feet up on a comfy chair, and get ready to spend a little time with Margaret and her friends.
Hello, dear foodie friends, and welcome to Kitchen Chat. I'm your host, Margaret McSweeney. So excited to be here at the National Restaurant Show in the Viking Vignette with Little B, with my favorite foodie friend, Chef Jamie Larita.
Always here.
And we're excited, so excited about our guest right now. You probably recognize him, all of you hockey fans out there. Daniel Carcillo, who is a Stanley Cup winner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And also is here today to share something special that he has started. Lots to chat about, but welcome to Kitchen Chat.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, I have to admit, I think I've maybe been to one hockey game in my life. I am so sorry. I'm not familiar with how all of that works. But you are a hockey star, though. When did that career begin?
It started pretty early. Originally from Canada. So when you're from Canada, you're born with skates. So as soon as you can walk, you throw some skates on. And you have to basically, everybody's playing minor hockey. It's very similar to how popular the NFL is here. And so just started down that path. And really, I was drawn to it because of, I really like the game as an emotional release. And really cherished my time on the ice. And when I went to the rink, I think that a lot of the tangible skills that I learned through the sport have transferred over into life after the game. So it's just a really great sport. I was very, very lucky to have played it for as long as I did, for 12 years professionally. And again, just lucky to be on some really good teams, win 2 Stanley Cups here in Chicago with the Hawks. Lost one to you guys in 2010 when I was on Philly.
What does it feel like to, the moment you win something like that? I mean, are you just is it surreal? Explain the feeling.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words. I mean, hockey is just about winning.
Yeah.
Right? It's about winning. And you have a chance to do that pretty much every other day for 187 days over the course of a season. And then you get into the playoff atmosphere. It's 2 months of every other day, go, no rest. So it really is, the biggest thing you'll hear is a grind. So you have to stay mentally focused on the goal at hand, no matter what happens.
Part of the pun.
Right? And no matter if the momentum changes or, you have one really bad game, you get blown out, kind of scrap it and move on, So it's, hockey mimics life in a really cool way. And, it's cool to be connected here. Something totally different that really doesn't have much to do with hockey.
Well, but it does, because I can't imagine what you eat before a hockey game. I mean, skating, how many miles have you skated in your life? I mean, for that many.
Quite a few, yeah. And games, you are burning between 2,000 and 3,000 calories. So food does become a very big factor for us. And eating clean and carb loading the night before, not necessarily on the game day. So you do learn a lot about nutrition, especially being retired. You have to really watch what you put into your body.
It's almost like, I have a history for cooking for major rock stars and celebrities and getting them on and off the stage. People like Madonna, Steven Tyler, people that are always dancing and moving and, using a different part of their body. Food is energy. And as far as what you do, I mean, when we talk about energy, it's a dangerous sport.
Very dangerous sport.
Yes.
Very dangerous sport. Collision sport.
Yeah.
Right.
And because your nickname is Car Bomb.
Yeah. The way that they used to sell the NHL game was on hate and rivalries, and so one of my job coming up was to make guys like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews feel comfortable enough to play a skilled game and not have to worry about other guys like me on the team. So, one of my prerequisites was to make sure that nothing happened to those guys. Watching over them.
And you said you were at one hockey game?
Oh my goodness, this was many years ago. Two, because I went to one in New York and one in Chicago. So
Rangers.
I might have seen you play here in Chicago. But it's a hard game for me to because it's so fast and you have the puck going.
Live is, and there's a lot of different rules, right? A lot of intricacies to the game, but watching a hockey game live will definitely, I think, best serve you and draw you into the game a lot more than the way that it translates on TV.
Yes, no, that's exciting.
It's like there's a lot of anxiety when I'm at a hockey game too. It's exciting, but there's a lot of anxiety because I feel everything. And it's like when I see these hockey players, you have to be not only light on your feet, you have to be mentally on point.
Right.
And it's just so, to me, it's like so aggressive. And I see you guys just like crashing into one another. And to me, it's just like, oh, I feel that.
Yeah, it is. It's very aggressive, and a lot of guys leave the game with brain health issues, to be pretty blunt. And that was a big reason why I started my 501c3 in Chapter 5, and a big reason why I kept the second Stanley Cup that I won here in Chicago. Went to a bunch of actually different restaurants.
Yes, I remember it was a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. Raised funds to start the foundation to better help athletes like me and like my friend Steve Monador, who really struggled in retirement and ended up losing his life. You don't want to see that happen again to guys that are currently playing today, who I've played with. So it's just about paving a new path for them to better assimilate back into real life, because the life of an athlete is not the real world, not even close. So there's a lot of things that go into, again, searching for a job, getting the right type of health care, speaking to family members about possible mental health issues that this person who just lost their whole world and community, they're going to have a little bit of a fall off. So just understanding that, right? So you could be there for your loved one.
And on Kitchen Chat, we always say charity begins in the kitchen. So can you share with us the name of the foundation and how the listeners and viewers can find you? And let's take a deeper dive into some of these issues that the it really impacts so many people with head injuries.
So just so the audience members know and we can get an understanding, do you personally suffer from these injuries?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've had 7 documented concussions, and neurodegenerative diseases now are associated with repetitive head trauma in athletes and in veterans, and we're seeing that a lot, right? We're seeing CTE, early onset dementia, early onset Alzheimer's. So that's a very real thing for me. I don't buy into the neurodegenerative disease too much because I think that impacts me negatively. So what I have are brain injury symptoms, and I know that there's treatment options for me. So that's a big thing. What I'm doing now is just showing on my YouTube channel the different types of treatment so that there's hope that's provided, so that you don't choose one of the mental health issues, the suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation. And I think without hope, that's what guys turn to, because I've had those thoughts. I've been in this position, and if I didn't have another treatment that I knew I haven't tried yet, I might choose that, right? So it's about providing these different types of treatments for individuals, for females of domestic violence, for child abuse victims, for the veteran community, for firefighters, for police officers, and ultimately for athletes who are in the line of fire every single day, participating in these collision sports and not being informed. Like truly informed about the risks of doing their job. So Chapter 5 Foundation is what I started. You can go to chapter5foundation.com, find out more about it. Daniel Carcillo 13 on Instagram, Carbon Boom 13 on Twitter. And yeah, you can ask me anything you'd like, and I'm pretty much an open book. I'll help connect brain injury survivors who are actually interested in this type of information to alternative healthcare providers.
Yeah, I mean, it's common sense with the way we see you guys play. Football players play, hockey players play. I mean, that repetitive head trauma, like, it's got to do something.
And from a young age, too. It's starting
Especially
younger.
my age, yeah.
Yes.
So I was born in 1985. I'm 34 years old. People may think that's young, yeah, but ultimately, I was hitting at the age of 4.
Yeah.
As soon as you can skate and you learn how to hit, you're hitting. It's like Pop Warner, right? You're seeing all these lawsuits against Pop Warner. I'm sure there's going to be the same type of thing against Hockey Canada and USA Hockey when they had kids like us. They had this information about brain injuries. They didn't make us aware about it, and we started hitting at this very young age. So again, through the foundation, just more education needs to be provided. It's not about not playing these sports, because sports are really important, right? They're integral to society, in my opinion. And so it's about just being really well informed. Kids aren't hitting at 4 anymore. They're hitting at 12 now because you were waiting for their neck muscles to develop so that they can inherently protect against these types of hits. So if you're engaging in it on a professional level and you're my age and you've never been brought up with this type of information, you just need to get it out there. You need to get it to these guys, especially my friends, right?
So, Daniel, is it like, has the armor changed in spite of this?
So the game's actually gotten faster. The equipment's gotten lighter. Nutrition and data tracking as far as training has gotten better. So you're creating bigger, stronger athletes who are wearing lighter equipment, and the rink size is still the same. You're not seeing the same like intent or malicious hits that you used to see where guys like me would go out and try to impose their will on other people to make them not finish the game.
Right.
Like that's a big way that we were taught. Take your opponent's will to even play away. As soon as they hesitate, you have them. Now it's more of a skill game. They've taken the hitting out, which is great, at a very young age, and it's score more goals than the other opponent, right? So, again, just educating, making sure that fans take an active role, because if you're going to ingest this entertainment, in my opinion, you have a responsibility to make sure that these human beings are being treated properly as far as healthcare, right? So why not put $1 from every ticket? Have fans press the league to put $1 from every ticket into a fund if the league doesn't want to do anything about brain injuries, right? Help these players out, because the reality is without guys like me, there's no sport for you to go and watch.
That is so true. And you're sharing such an important platform, and we so appreciate that. I'm curious, you mentioned that nutrition, health, food ties into this. Can you share with us a little bit more about how that has changed? Yes.
Recovery, I've learned a lot about the gut-brain axes that plays into, if you're not eating the right types of foods, plays into anxiety, depression. A lot of people are talking about preventing Alzheimer's, dementia. That's going a little bit far, but you can definitely stave off these neurodegenerative diseases if you're exercising and if you're eating properly.
Have you educated yourself on like macrobiotics and things like that?
I have, the probiotics, all that stuff.
So that's what I was trained as a macrobiotic chef.
Nice.
And things like, you wouldn't think, Margaret, but like carrots, beets, turnips, things that grow downward and underneath the earth.
Turmeric.
Things that ground you, things that keep you tight in your feet in the ground, and other things like spring onions, cilantro, celery that grow upward literally can change your energy on a daily basis. So if you're feeling that anxiety or depression and you start eating against it, you literally can change your mood and your energy by consuming things that are more rooted or more sprung. That's in microbiotics. It's pretty interesting.
For sure. I mean, and inflammation, right? Inflammation in our gut, inflammation in our knee hurts, right? Any type of inflammation. So what I'm on now is a really big kick as far as researching what reduces these inflammation levels. It seems like whenever I eat too much sugar before I go to bed, I feel terrible the next day, right? So I kind of do like little tests. All right, let's try this. And let's see if this works and see how I feel in the morning. Yeah,
there's a great book that I've always leaned on. It's called Eating Right for Your Blood Type.
Okay.
It's the book that I used when I was touring with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Of course, I took the job thinking, I can follow that, no problem. How many of them are going to be different blood types? They were all different.
Oh, no.
So where one could eat one thing, the other couldn't. So it was just like having to cook all this different food to feed all of them. But it talks about inflammation. It talks about all the things that we're discussing. It's one of my favorite books. and we should try to have the author on Kitchen Chat one day. It's changed my life, and it's changed the lives of others. Just for example, like, I'm A negative.
We both are A negative.
Do you know your blood type?
I don't.
So you find out your blood type,
Okay.
it will change your world.
Okay.
And for example, meat is really hard for me to digest because
Right.
I don't have a lot of acid in my blood. Those that like an O or a B, they have a lot more acid that can break down meats. So what I'm saying is that A negative, like we are,
Yes, and
we
we're
should be
rare.
vegetarian because we don't have a lot of that acid that other people do. So that's why I have a lot of acid reflux when I do eat a lot of meat, because my body is over exercising to try to get rid of it.
Try to break it down.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty-
like people changing their diet but not actually looking at their blood type or the contents in their stomach and how they're working with, say, gluten.
Yeah.
Could be eating gluten and you're gluten intolerant.
It's amazing
right?
what food is. Food is magic, and it also could be poison to some individuals.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, so finding out what your blood type is really, really important. And I've literally seen the change in the artists that I've worked with and the sports people that
Their energy.
Yeah,
and
it changes.
their
It
face
changes
and-
everything.
Right.
Even the color of your skin.
For sure.
The skin tone. You can tell when somebody's more vibrant and is like more up. You know, and you can feed and to that energy. It's pretty interesting.
Nice. It's awesome. I mean, do you know of any? Can I?
Oh,
ask
of
a question?
course,
I'm not gonna take your
please.
job.
No, this
Do you
is a
know of
chat.
any- yeah, for sure. Do you know of any doctors or any people working in this space that have looked at, say, for example, the link between you've mentioned anti-inflammatory, but have they looked at specifically what to eat, say, when recovering from a brain injury? I know omega-3s are really good, magnesium, but
You know, I'm sure.
has anybody looked at that yet?
Yeah, I'm sure they have, and it's like something that I can't exactly quote right now.
Right.
I'll look into that for you as well.
Yeah, maybe we can look into it.
Yeah, because I think it's something that, if not, it's an opportunity too.
Well, creating something, right, for brain injury
Yes.
survivors. I mean, that's a big thing I do. Everybody thinks that you go get an MRI and a CT scan. You can't see a concussion on an MRI or a CT scan. And if you're having depression or anxiety, these mental health complications that are linked to brain injuries, and you tell a doctor that, and he's not a neurologist or a functional neurologist, he's going to prescribe you an antidepressant.
Absolutely.
Or a Xanax for the anxiety. So now, concussion is a chemical imbalance. Now you're putting a chemical on a chemical imbalance.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. So I implore people to just protocol, right? Know your protocol and know where to go. And again, like, know what to eat, omega-3s. And so, I mean, it could be a really interesting, my mind's kind of
sure.
buzzing right now.
Yes. Oh, a fun
And
collaboration.
you never know. You never know what's going to be the next moment to change your life, and this could be it.
Well, and CBD, I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if people are cooking with CBD.
They are.
But, okay.
They
I
are.
mean, that's one of the best natural anti-inflammatories on the market, right?
I just
So,
gave
yeah.
some to my dog this morning.
Perfect. There you
Because
go.
he's been limping on one leg.
You should.
But,
I mean, I've been taking CBD for a month now and like have felt really, really good.
Oh, good.
Really good.
Oh, good.
As far as like waking up, just my energy levels. Obviously, there's good and bad days, but I've had more good days.
We could go. We could
go in depth.
Yes.
go in depth. Even the
absolutely.
way you cook, Margaret, when it comes to like macrobiotics,
Yeah,
the way
you got to be
cook,
careful the temperature, right?
Even like boiling versus simmering, roasting, and baking things. For example, aggressive energy
Right.
on a food product, and then consuming that energy, that microwave energy or that broiling energy.
Right.
Maybe dialing it back to a simmer energy
Right.
is better for you.
Oh.
It's
It
in
goes
there.
super
It's
in
in
depth,
there.
right?
I mean, it's all, everything matters, everything, folks.
Well, I'm hoping the two of you can collaborate on some
Yeah.
kind of menu.
protocol,
for
some type
this,
of
and
protocol about like what to eat
Yes.
immediately following a brain injury, you know? Everybody thinks it's these supplements. I mean, there's really no supplement out there that can, number one, protect you, or number two, I mean,
It's your brain,
Right.
It's your computer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
it's like having a computer virus.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and not knowing how to fix it.
That's a great
imagine if
analogy.
you, I mean, imagine
Absolutely.
if your executive function, I mean, one of the things that they look at these brain injury clinics is your gait. So your gait is just how you're walking. And then they'll ask you to say the alphabet, every other word. So you're using different regions of your brain and executive function, and they're looking at that. If you trip up, and your right arm becomes slower than your left as you're saying every other letter, they know something's wrong with that cognitive function, with actually moving, right? So they'll delve into that, and they'll make a protocol to wake that part of your brain up, stimulate that area of your brain, build new neurological pathways around your dead neurons, and then all of a sudden your gait, you're on, and your problem solving is on. So you're talking about brain health. Brain health operates everything. So why isn't there a gym that does this type of vision training for high operators like you, for people like me, where this vision training has been shown to reverse the signs of dementia, early onset dementia. Yeah. So there's a lot of really cool stuff, man.
That is
there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're working on.
Especially in sport training, like to raise awareness at a very early age and feed to strengthen your immunity and the things that we learn from our mistakes in our past to create a brighter future for these kids. And that's what you're doing by bringing awareness to the subject.
That's what we're trying to do, right? Just take care of your brain. I mean, the reality is once you have brain damage, you are damaged. You know, there's no research to suggest right now that you can't make your dead neurons alive again. That's the reality, right? We're placid enough to build these new pathways, but it takes a lot of this, and it takes a lot of work, right? It's not, there's never going to be, in my opinion, a pill bottle that I can open up or a shake. So it takes putting in the work, researching about food, nutrition, getting great sleep, and all these things have been shown to help, right? To optimize a human. And what are we trying to do, right? We're trying to be the best that we can be.
Absolutely. So. And you have a garden, right? You like to garden?
I do.
So
me and my wife have a big garden, and
love that.
Yeah, I'm actually got we're looking into some other things. We're looking into, I just recently got my hemp license, so I'm going to grow my own medicine. I plan on giving it to a university to study because I want to look into not only CBD, but there's CBG. There's other cannabinoids that the Israeli military has been using to give to their military veterans who've been injured in war to help reduce the inflammation in their brain. So if these people have been doing it and they've been doing it progressively for 30 years, those are the studies that I want to look into and try to bring some of that here, you know, in a healthy manner.
Yes.
You know, so
very fascinating. Oh,
there's so much, man.
Yeah, there really is.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for
course.
being on Kitchen Chat and for all that you do with your organization. If someone is listening or watching right now that might have been quietly suffering, because I hear that you really suffer in silence from a brain injury, can you share some words of encouragement with that person?
Yeah. So brain injuries are tough. For me, I felt like I have a new normal every time I wake up now, right? Acceptance for me is really big, and I think it could work for you because if you're always trying to fight and claw for that person that you have an image of, I implore you to just let that go, and that there is a lot of hope moving forward as far as moxa acupuncture, neuroplasticity, functional neurology, functional medicine. There's cranial sacral, there's reflexology if you get stressed. There are so many different avenues that I've found that have helped me and that have been a placebo effect. So keep moving forward. You can follow me on social, reach out to me. If anybody's having a difficult time, DM me. I get back to everybody. And just keep the faith and don't lose hope. There are a ton of different types of treatments that can help improve your quality of life.
Wow. Thank you so much, Daniel. And yes, just don't suffer in silence. I hope you will use his resources that he has out there and stay encouraged. Thank you so much for sharing your hope on Kitchen Chat. And thank you, Chef Jamie. And thank you, dear foodie friends, for joining us here at the National Restaurant Show. Always remember to take a moment and savor the day.
Thanks for joining Margaret for Kitchen Chat today. Margaret would be so excited for you to drop by and visit with her at kitchenchat.info, where you'll enjoy podcasts, blogs, recipes, tips from chefs, and even great giveaways. She invites you to share your recipes and kitchen stories too. As Margaret always says, savor the day.